Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Intuitive Angling, and really appreciate you guys joining us for today's video. Really appreciate that. And guys, today I'm going to talk about the group of anglers out there, or the specific anglers that you don't ever want to get any fishing information from, because it's not going to be accurate, let me put it that way, or it's not going to be fully truthful if they do give it to you. So we're going to get into that in today's video. I think you guys are going to really enjoy it. Also, guys, we are, at the time of filming this video, we're in mid-October. I want to show you guys one of my favorite October and November baits, and that is a black head super spook. Now, you guys know I'm sponsored by Megabass. I love Megabass. I use all Megabass stuff. But I'm telling you right now, even though I love Megabass, October and November, you will see me with this black spook on. You can see I've used that one here. It's been used quite a bit here. There's something about it in October and November that the black spook is really good. If you guys want to pick one up, guys, I'll put my Tackle Warehouse link in the description to the Head and Super Spook link. Using that link's a great way to support the channel. I really appreciate that. And also tomorrow, I'm going to do a video on how to modify this Super Spook to even get more bites in the fall time of the year. So keep an eye out for that particular video coming up tomorrow. Okay, guys, here is the dudes that you do not want to get any fishing information off of, because it's not going to be accurate most of the time. Now, when I say this, before I get into this, let me preface, there's never anything that's absolute in fishing. It's like, so when I say that this group of anglers that I'm going to identify here don't trust what they're going to talking about, there are some guys that you can't. I'm not saying that you can't, but the majority of them, the vast majority of them, you're not going to be able to trust the information they give you, and let me explain to you why. This group of anglers are the people, the high-level competitive tournament anglers that rely on their tournament performance to supplement most of their income. If you get information, or if an angler passes along information to you, whether it be publicly or whatever, now privately, if you're buddies with them, that's differently, but if you read something, like if you watch a YouTube video, if you read something from an angler that is like at the top of their game, and they rely on tournament winnings and tournament performance and their sponsorships gained from that in order to make a living at the sport, they are, most of the time, now I'm not saying all the time, but most of the time, you're only getting part of a picture. They're leaving out a detail on purpose because they don't want to give away everything, because it takes away from their competitive edge. I know this, guys, because I did it. And not only I did it, everybody I knew did it. Every pro, when I was at the top of my game fishing competitively, myself and everyone I knew did the same thing here. And they still do it today. And let me explain what this is. Now, I'll give you a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Let's say back, when I was at the top of my game, and somebody asked me, about how were you working that jerk bait, Randy, to win that tournament or whatever? I'll say, well, I was using the jerk pause, jerk pause, and let it set for 2 or 3 seconds on the jerk bait, which I did. But I may have left out the most important detail, saying it's like, yeah, I did the jerk pause, but in between that jerk pause, I vibrated the rod tip. I just went like that and vibrated that rod tip in between the jerk pause, which was the key element I left out. Now, in doing that, it's almost like a self-preservation, because when you develop a technique, and I'm not blaming the pros that do this today, because there's a lot of them that do it still. I'm not blaming it, because what happens here, guys, is if you spend days and months and years and even decades perfecting a technique, or you have mastered this technique to the level that nobody else does, you're very protective of that, because you put in so much of your own blood, sweat, and tears and time to figure this out. So naturally, you don't want to give it away to the entire world, something that took you decades to learn. And if you do give that away, you're going to lose your competitive edge. And so in other words, what I'm saying here, guys, is when you get information, or you hear about information from anglers that need a competitive edge, that are actively fishing at the top level, and they need that competitive edge to maintain that, take it with a grain of salt. It's the same thing, guys, with the spotlighters. I mean, that's the big deal now, because you got these spotlighters out there that are describing how they're using the cheater box, to win tournaments and all this type of stuff. But most of the time they're leaving out some of the most important details. There's a movement or how that fish is moving and how the angle it's coming at your bait, and there's different variables to that they're simply not sharing with you guys. There's aspects of that they're purposely hiding from you all, and you can't blame them. I don't blame them for that. But the point of the video I wanted to make out is just be aware of that. That's just the reality of the situation, the way it is. And when you get information like that, just take it with a grain of salt. Now, the people that you can trust the most in order to get information, that you're getting the real thing and the full story on everything, are guys that don't really have much to lose. Like myself, it's like I hit a bunch of stuff for so many years. I don't make my living as a competitive tournament fisherman anymore, so I'm giving these tips away that I've learned. I have a vested interest in sharing tips with you guys that you can really help catch fish, because if I share a tip with you guys and I don't hide anything about it and you go out and catch fish, you might subscribe to my channel. You might use my Tackle Warehouse link. You may become a channel member. So it behooves me not to hide anything. So when you're absorbing YouTube videos and you're watching YouTube videos or you're reading magazines or whatever, if you have an angler out there that was a past tournament competitor and no longer fishes and is given information, that's a really good indication you're getting the full story on everything. It's the same thing if you have some recreational fisherman that doesn't really have to hide anything or doesn't have a vested interest in, keeping anything secret. But pay attention. If you are consuming information from people that have a vested interest in, preserving or protecting something for their own benefit, a lot of times you're getting half of the story, you're getting a partial story. So anyway, guys, just wanted to pass that along. I don't know if a lot of you guys know that went on out there. And like I say, I'm not labeling everybody out there, but I am labeling the majority of the pros that do that, because I know them, I've lived around them, I'm friends with them, I've talked to them, I know what they do, I know what I did, and that's the world of competition. I think it's the same in any sport out there. If you've gained a competitive edge, you don't want to give away that competitive edge unless it benefits you to do so. So just wanted to give you all a heads up on that, guys. Appreciate y'all tuning in. We'll talk later.